Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Dandy Andy, and this is Golgari Moonshadow Aggro. This list comes from Andy reaching out to me and asking for help with a deck he was working on, which was a Moonshadow Smallpox hybrid list. And the bad news for Andy was that decks that are trying to build one giant creature generally don't want to cast Smallpox, and we quickly identified that in our talk session. But his loss is your gain, because now I'm playing the Golgari aggro deck that came out of that session, and later I'll play the Loampox deck that came out of that session as well. We got two decks from one idea. You'll notice a lot of the bones of Loampox here in Moonshadow Aggro, Mono Black, or Demir. That's out there. You can find those lists. Trying it with Golgari, a little scrappier, a little more mid-range grind. Got Mox Diamonds in here to go a little faster. Life from the Loam gives you Wasteland and Urza Saga long into the late game. But at the same time, this deck isn't really trying to play a late game. We're very happy to just crack you with a 7/7 very quickly. Once upon a time in the list to find these pieces faster, keep the Moonshadows moving. That's the idea. An aggressive deck built on the bones of Loampox. Let's see how this works. This is Golgari Aggro. The weekend of July 11th, I'll be headed to Baltimore for the DMV Legacy League's Triple Threat Weekend. CubeCon DMV is the heart of the event, featuring 3 drafts of elite curated cubes with a cut to top 8 on Sunday. Saturday, you can test your mettle in the DMV Legacy League's annual Legacy Open, the Classic. And Sunday, join the NYC Pauper League in Pauper Genesis, the biggest pauper event in North America to date. And best of all, the event is for charity. Sign up at dmvll.com/BoshNRoll. Save $20 if you sign up for the Classic before June 1st. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 1, but I'm cooking here. I've got the Moonshadow, a Plains, a Guide of Souls. Okay. Plains generally not what the card Moonshadow wants to see. I'm going to Once Upon a Time first, because that is when you're supposed to cast that card. I guess I'll take this Orcish Bowmaster. That could pick off something like a Ocelot Pride in the near future. Pass in the turn. Maybe there should have been some consideration of starting to heat up the Eumidian Hatchery. Oh, God. Okay, this build. It gets to kill my Moonshadow for free, but I get to kill their Bowmaster. Not that bad. I was trying to protect my life total. I don't want to lose life every time I tap a land in a matchup like this one. Okay, there's options here. I could build out this Urza Saga, get that ticking. The Saga can tutor for Mox Diamond, Pithing Needle, Nile Spellbomb. None of those are very high impact. I could play this basic land, so I'm safe, or I could start building up the Eumidian Hatchery. That life total could come back to bite me, but having Wasteland for my own hatchery could also create a bunch of flying blockers all at once. I think that's actually the way to go. And I'm just going to main phase this thing. Wasteland. You want to give me a bug? Voice of Victory. That's in there. This is the critical 3rd energy. Okay, we're making Orc Army large instead of Guide of Souls. That's probably a bet on if I have removal, I'd rather kill Guide of Souls. Kind of a tough spot here. This Voice of Victory is going to destroy me. Okay, Elvish Reclaimer's in. I guess I should put Skateboard into play, even though I'm not using it yet, but at some point I will. I don't like my spot. Swords to Plowshare is my Reclaimer. Ocelot Pride. That thing's going to go nuts here. This sucks really hard, but I think I do actually need to block these warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they're about to get a bunch of warriors forever if they get the city's blessing. This game is long gone. All right, that one's not it. Okay. Yeah, the deck as constructed, especially in the main deck, bets pretty hard on we're going to be the ones applying pressure. And if that's not the case, oh baby, we're in trouble. Bunch of removal coming in. I like Barrogoyf. Isle Spellbomb doesn't matter much here. The Witherbloom charms and commands are all good here. Those are basically Vindicate in this matchup. Endurance is a body, but I don't think it really matters. My opponent might have something like Cabal Therapy in the black build of this deck. All right, just 4 more removal spells for 4 more of this reactive kind of stuff. And that's kind of why energy is so good in Legacy. It hits you fast, but in a way you're not usually prepared for. Oh, this is so close. I can turn one Orcish Bowmaster. The problem is they're also a Wasteland deck. I don't have the next mana to make Urza Saga do its thing. There's no Loam in this hand. I think I have to mulligan this, actually. It's a shame, because it was otherwise exciting. Okay, I do like this hand. But what I'm going to do is keep bottom Mortuary. I wish this was one of these lands just tapped for black, naturally, so I could get the full value off of the Verdant Catacombs. Alright, well, I'm keeping. And I'll put Underground Mortuary on the bottom. My plan is to Moonshadow and Thoughtseize, and either way, Moonshadow gets one bigger. I can go Mox Diamond, Moonshadow, fetch it grows, Thoughtseize you, or fetch, Moonshadow, Mox Diamond, discard land, Moonshadow grows. Okay, it's the same thing. And I think I should get basic Swamp here. Swamp, Mox D, Grow the Shadow, Thoughtseize ya. A Bowmaster, to a Johnny, Static Prison, Oscillate Pride. I think I gotta take the Static Prison. In Static Prison and Oscillate Pride are similar things when my interaction is Witherbloom command, but the Static Prison will reset the Moonshadow, which I'd prefer not to occur. Holding back the Pride, recognizing all these 2-drops, probably the way to go. Oh, right on time. I'll still cast it. Wasteland, sure. Put that into my range. Opponent holding basic Swamp and can fetch basic Plains here. The world is their oyster. The Arid Mesa fetching Plains. There's the Swamp. There's Johnny. Good draw. Kinda. Temporarily. Maybe. If a Johnny flips, it starts with 3 loyalty. Okay, so I can kill the cat token, mill myself for 3. As long as a permanent gets milled over, I have good combat here. Alright, cool. That did work. And I can get back Verdant Catacombs or Eumidian Hatchery. Hatchery might be a way out of this game. Yeah, I'll take Hatchery. Ajani is optional. They'll probably just not flip it here. Like, why just put it in the graveyard when you could play the other Ajani and get it all next turn? Attack for 3. I did mill over a life from the Loam. That's a big game. Can this Moonshadow ride to victory? Oscillate Pride. Yeah, now they get a bunch of stuff all at once. Play the Ajani Legend Roll. Oh, you're gated on white. Never mind. Not necessarily even the case. Cool. I'm going to float a black in the end step. I'm going to start banking bugs. We're in there. Dredge Loam. Yes. A Caracas. That's interesting. I don't think it's good, but it's interesting. Life from the Loam. Target. Saga. Catacomb. Caracas. I'm going to get the Verdant Catacomb and just have Abrupt Decay available. That's my plan. Attack for 4, which can become 6 on the board. Or 7 on the board. Fetch, waste, and the target of my waste. A basic forest. I see that wasteland over there. I see the way they're moving. They pass the turn. End step Bowmaster. This will gain a bunch of life. Or no, the Oscillate Pride. That's not what that does. Right. Okay, Bowmaster's fine. In my head, even after, 2 years of these cards existing, I just conflate Oscillate Pride and Guide of Souls together. It's like, yeah, they both do all of the things. But that's not actually true. Okay, here comes a Johnny. That happens, I guess. Abrupt Decaying the Planeswalker is pretty nice. And I can do it now, actually, while I have priority. Cook that guy. And I can make 2 bugs if they want to attack. Like, I could double block this right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If they add another permanent from their hand, they have the City's Blessing, and I'm in a lot of trouble. Do I want to just take the double block? Yeah, that makes my Shadow 7/7, and I have Loam. I can just get this thing back in the mix. There's a lot of things that can punish this, but I think this is the play. You got to kind of ride the lightning here. Have to double block because it has first strike. I've been first struck. And they're cat-tied. Cool. All right, nice. Staff of the Storyteller. That's a dirty one. I do have a Boseiju in my graveyard, but the staff's not the problem. All the creatures are. Do I want to dredge? Yeah, I do. I'm in the Lone Pox phase of the game. You've met me at a very Lone Pox stage of my life. Okay, I'm going to attack first and see what happens. They'll probably block my spirit with their spirit. Okay, taking the chump. We love Menace. I could Wasteland, or I could add Urza Saga. I could do a little of both. Okay, I'm going to play Saga, and then I'm going to Loam targeting Wasteland, Hatchery, Beseju. And I might just Beseju the staff. I'm more worried about a card from them than I am a land. They probably have a Surveil land they could still get some value off of, but a Surveil is not the same as a card. Especially if their deck continues to do what their deck does and they draw more cards off of that. They put a Wasteland in the graveyard. Kaya Orzhov Usurper that exiles 1-drops! Oh no. Well, this game just flipped pretty hard. Yeah, this takes out my graveyard and kills Moonshadow. I love this card in Legacy. It's been a long time. Okay, so they let Moonshadow live, instead favoring going after my Loam. Alright. Aaliyah will draw a card here, because opponent gained life off of Kaya. Alright, you draw a card. I need an answer to Kaya, like, right now. Or some follow-up threats. Committee and Hatchery number 1. Oh, I can just attack Kaya. That's how Planeswalkers work. Never mind. That was okay. Yeah, I think it might have been actually a huge mistake to not minus Kaya to exile Moonshadow. Interesting. I have Krakus in my hand that can bounce Halia. Sephiroth, oh my god. Alright, another legend. When this enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature if you do draw a card. Bowmaster's gone. Taking the card draw. I am going to start banking bugs here. I'm going to play this Caracas. Okay. Opponent's at 14, which is conveniently double 7. I don't need to take action on the Sephiroth yet. All right, wasting Caracas, sure. Put that back in your hand. We're playing Halia, we'll put them at 8. I'll bank another bug in the end step. Abrupt Decay, let's go. I like that one. Attack. And I'm going to play Wasteland to threaten 3 flying flyers. Clarion Conqueror. Artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. Okay. Lands can be activated. The only card in their hand right now is Sephiroth. I don't actually care about Sephiroth. Like, if they sack a creature, they die to Abrupt Decay. And if they don't sack a creature, they also die to Abrupt Decay. Okay, yeah, didn't sack a creature. I can't attack, can't do anything. End step, float a mana, waste my land, make 3 bugs, Abrupt Decay the Conqueror. I don't even have to do that, but it's happened. I'm just making sure I win. All right, cool. Moonshadow, coast to coast. My 1-drop. There was a moment that Kaya could have beat me, but it chose not to. Hey, what do I do knowing Kaya is in this deck? Do I actually make adjustments? Do I bring in a Disruptor Flute? Opponent's got the tech. The Sephiroth, the Helia, the Kaya. There's a lot of grindy mid-range options here. I don't think anything changes, though. I'd still rather have Thoughtseize. I mean, that one of Thoughtseize was... It would determine the whole game. I knew it was in their hand starting turn 1. I built my whole plan around that. There's already a Pithing Needle in as well. Yeah, okay. Same shit. Let's go. Ooh, do I trust Once Upon a Time? I think I do. Arid Mesa. Guide of Souls. Yep. There's no fatal pushes in the deck. We're counting on the Witherbloom Charm pretty hard. That's a card Andy really likes. Once Upon a Time, show me a black source, snow-covered swamp. I will take it. And I still would like the Thoughtseize. This one of Thoughtseize. This is why you leave 1 copy in your deck. All right, I'll take the Ajani. The hand is 2 plows. It's important to leave exactly 1 copy of high-impact cards in your deck, so when you draw them in your opening hand, you look and feel very smart and handsome. God of Souls coming in. Talon Gates of Madara. All right, I've got some options here. I can go like Moonshadow plus Skateboard off of Talon Gates, which protects my green source. I could just flash in Bowmasters, deal 1 to this, block it twice, and then they have to spend both plows to win that fight. Alright, yeah, I'm going to play Talon Gates and use the Bowmaster. If I can get both of their plows out with 1 creature, I'm taking that shit. They can also just Wasteland pre-combat and sniff out the trick. And now they can use 0 plows if they prefer, which is probably going to be the answer. Yep. Okay, Basic Forest is online here. Witherbloom Charm can kill this thing. I'm going to attack with my Orc army, see if I can get them on the hook for a Witherbloom command. Ooh, interesting. Alright, that died. Fetch. Get Forest, -3, -1, and pick up a land. Cool, that just worked. There's a Wasteland that was just milled over, or I could keep my colors online. I think I like Wasteland here. Trying to make it hurt. Hey, they drew a land, and his 2 plows, and then 2 unknowns that they did not choose to play. I'm going to attack with Bowmaster, see what happens. Cool. Moonshadow, play my Wasteland, and I'll actually pass here. I can gain an extra life if I'm careful, or I could cost them in mana, and either way I'm pretty happy. Like, if they plow, I'll waste in response. If they don't plow, I'll waste in their upkeep. Perfect. Okay, I gain an extra life doing what I was going to do anyway here. Maybe that matters. Maybe it doesn't. All we can do is play the game. My Wasteland's not looking great. Witherbloom Charm kills that. Ooh, okay. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. I choose that one. I'm going to see if I can get this other plow on the hook. Like, if they get impatient and kill my Bowmaster, then I'll play Reclaimer second main. All right, Reclaimer is going to wait. Loaded a white. Bowmaster lives. Skateboard giving Reclaimer haste is a 4 mana play that could do something cool. Oh, they drew a good card. I don't like that. Ooh. What do I do with this? I think the answer is nothing, unfortunately. I could play Skateboard, tap the Cat Warrior, and then attack. Okay. Skate. Nope, can't tap the Black Source. That's the one I'm not allowed to tap. Skateboard. Tap Cat Warrior. Attack. Correctly no block there. Play Boseiju as a land and pass. Is the Sajani gonna rumble? No, it's not. Correctly playing around the thing that I have telegraphed. End step Bowmaster. Kill the Cat Warrior. If a Johnny flips, it'll have 3 loyalty. And then I can push 3 damage in there. The Elvish Reclaimer. This is probably going to eat the Swords to Plowshares. But I gotta clear the Ajani. Okay. Suit up the Orc army now. Ooh, at 2 plows. Alright. Well, Ajani's at 1. But I'm starting to run out of gas, and this active Planeswalker is a problem. Alright, I can just delete a Bowmaster. Oh no. No, that's so good. That's probably the best card they could have. I mean, there were a lot of good cards. Anything that blocks gets it there, but that one in particular. Yikes. Once upon a time. Suppose I'll use Urza's Saga to try to get back into this game. Maybe my opponent will accidentally draw a card somehow. Ooh, plussing a Johnny. Scary. Voice of Victory. Stop doing stuff. Moonshadow. Alright. I am deleting Boseiju to do as much as I can this turn. Gotta be on the board. Play Legend Roll Boseiju, keep the untapped one. Moonshadow gets bigger. Equip my 3/3. Attack a Johnny. I could trade the cat for this, or just jump with Orc Army. Pithing Needle is pooping out next turn. Oh, taking a double block. Alright. I like when 2 things die. The Johnny is a -4 to do the Cataclysm thing. Alia, that's definitely going to work because of Voice of Victory. But I guess I can double block Voice here, and they have to make real thoughts about that. Okay, so they're trading Voice of Victory for a card here. I'll take that trade. I'll buy that for $1. Moonshadow gets larger. Voice of Victory's gone. They do get to draw a card. I guess Bowmaster would have done something there for them drawing a card, but Voice of Victory being dead also matters a lot. Witherbloom Charm. Okay. That card is good for the future, but I'm just going to Pithing Needle this Ajani. Ajani, Nakadal, Avenger. Make sure I have the right one. Okay. I've got a 4/4. I'm just going to attack with both of these. They have 1 clean trade, but they take 4 from the other guy, and my Menace creature continues to ride. Surgical Extraction, Urza's Saga. Okay. And that does make Life from the Loam a little worse. Some of my top decks are a little worse, but that's a card spent that impacted the board 0. Like, that didn't... In this game right now, where all of these cards matter, every piece of material either of us has matters. Exercise? Okay, yep. That is big enough to die to that. I'm just really glad that was Surgical Extraction and not any card by you. Alright. Now I have to decide if I am drawing cards or holding up removal, and I think holding removal is a better way to use my stuff here. Oh, they can play Halia from Warp now. That's pretty good. This only destroys 2 drops. All right, I will take out what I can take out here. And we're looking for action. Big rips. All right. The Surgical has paid off a little bit here. We've got Wasteland, Boseiju, and Verdant Catacombs, I guess. If Verdant Catacombs can get my Surveil land, and I think that's the play right now. I'm at 16. I got some movement here. Oh, second Surgical. All right, sure. Okay, my Loams and Sagas are out of the deck. Still got Barrogoyf, still got Bowmasters. Fudge and A, that card's good. Yeah, the Halia is there to immediately gain life as well. I gotta figure this one out, like, basically right now, or this cat's gonna bury me. I'll get my Surveil land. Show me a good one. Caracas. That answers Halia, but that's not the whole problem anymore. That's gotta go. I'm looking for a Barrogoyf, a Bowmaster, something that impacts the board somehow. Elvish Reclaimer, okay. Shame I just buried my Caracas. A Wasteland Reclaimer, 3/4 creature. That's big enough. 4/4 creature. That's big enough to impact this game. And I am going to waste the Shadowy Backstreet. There are 3 drops in their deck. We've seen them. Okay, I've got a 4/4 and a little bit of an engine. Okay, they can't really do anything on this board. I'm going to rotate away this redundant Boseiju. I think it's Eumidian Hatchery time. Mox Diamond does not help me. All right, pass the turn. We're back into a card drawing contest, though now I have an onboard engine. Silent Clearing. That's allowed to draw a card. Okay, still not doing anything. Do I want to risk wasting off colors? Yeah, I'll rotate away my basic forest. And I'll get a second hatchery. The Urza Saga Surgical Extraction Gambit is starting to pay off here. I may have just lost this game 5 turns ago if that Surgical Extraction was a card that impacted the board. But certainly now that we're on turn 16 of the game. Oh no, not Kaya. Shit, dude. All right. Well, I was hoping they wouldn't draw a good card for a while, but there it is. Okay, that's going to exile that. In response, I'll rotate away this Eumidian Hatchery that's got 2 counters on it. I think I want Wasteland that can target my hatchery if it needs to, or their Caracas if I need to do that. These are reasonable attacks. Do I want to Boseiju this Caracas? I think I do. If I can trick them into bouncing their own Halia, which doesn't make any sense, but if they get it in their head, there we go, save 3 life. So they can now warp that out. Maybe I messed that up, actually. Maybe I tricked myself. Yeah, because now they can warp this, gain a life, which triggers Ocelot Pride. And are they there? It's close. No, I think they have 9 permanents. We did it. All right, I'll keep banking bugs. That's all I'm doing right now. Assassin's Trophy, nice. Very happy with that. Skateboard on the insect, take out Kaya. Attack Kaya Orzhov Usurper. This game has been very good. I will just call it out. However this ends, this has been a delight. Guide of Souls. Okay, I mean, that resolves. And Halia, Guided by Light. I have 1 removal spell, and they now have 3 permanents that are struggling, or that will cause a struggle for me. Okay, I'm going to let Halia resolve. This gains 2 life. If I can solve this problem with Eumidian Hatchery, I will. Okay, didn't attack with Ocelot Pride. I think that one is my biggest problem. Yeah, I'll just take that one out. I go to 7. Do you still have basics in your deck? We see 3 of them already. Okay, finally out of basics. I'm at 7. Can I draw a Barrogoyf? Nope, absolutely not. I don't think attacking makes sense having these blockers available. I have 5 power of blocking on the board. Oh, don't tap mana. Don't do stuff. That's really good. That gains 2 life and draws a card. Oh, it gains more life because Halia triggers off artifacts as well. So they're in Halia already. She's going to draw a card at the end step. All right, please attack with Halia. Make a mistake. Make a mistake. All right, no mistakes were made. I don't think I can afford to fight over this. I'll take it. Halia draws another card in the end step. I'll continue hatching. I'm at 5. Barrow Goyf. Barrow Goyf. All right, Orcish Bowmasters plays here really well, actually. My opponent currently has multiple card draw engines online, and I might be in a position to actually punish. Sephiroth, okay. So when enters or attacks, you can sack a creature if you do draw a card. Whenever another creature dies, oh god. Well, that's going to be a lot of damage that I have very little to say about. I have to kill one of these things before the other things happen. Yeah, I think Sephiroth is just going to deal 5 to me here. Honestly, I think that's what this outcome's going to be. Yeah, it's whenever another creature dies. So now even like quadruple blocking Halia, not a thing. Swords to Plowshares was the one card in your hand? Jeez. All right. I'm pretty cooked. I needed that to go my way, but those were 2 best imaginable cards. Okay, creatures attacking. The Guide of Souls has the bubble. Okay, so if I block, I lose. If I don't block, I lose. All right, you got me. The 1-2 punch too strong there. And Sephiroth. Baragoi, not forthcoming, but that was a really cool back and forth match where we made a lot of cool decisions. On to the next round. July 24th through 26th, Excalibur Events will be running one of their 3-day weekends in Columbus, Ohio. This event will feature a CEDH 25K, Riftbound tournaments, sorcery tournaments, and Magic side events, including on Sunday a pre-modern 5K, which I will be attending and participating in. If you want to come compete, sign up in the link in the video description and use code KOVAL for $5 off entry. I'll see you there. On the play in round 2, my hand does not cast my spells. A shame. I'll mulligan. This one works. I'll keep this and put Skateboard away. And we'll start with Once Upon a Time. A lot of options here. Hatchery, Bowmaster, Mortuary, Catacombs. It's certainly not Mortuary. Catacombs and Bowmaster are both appealing here. I think I want Bowmaster. As the Witherbloom command can find my 3rd land drop, Bowmaster is meaningfully interactive and annoying against a spread of decks. Opponent's got a Flooded Strand and a Volcanic Island. A Lightning Bolt. Alright, Moonshadow triggers on its own death. Don't forget, folks. Remember your triggers in real life. Okay, now we're in the spot where a Wasteland's actually kind of annoying. Okay, this player must have Daze, or else this doesn't make any sense to do. Well, I'm ripping it off. Do they have the full sweep? Kill my 1-drop, Daze, Wasteland. Yeah, we're getting Delvered. Okay, I mean, if I knew the matchup, I probably still would have kept the Bowmaster. Right, green source right now. From the top rope. Easy game. Fudge! Alright, bad news. Delver didn't flip. That's another look at a green source. Bobble. That was clearly the card they just drew. Alright, deck, green source. From the top rope. Take over this game. Get it all back. I'm getting bobbled in my upkeep. Is it a green source? No! Technically, kind of. Oh, they actually targeted themselves with bobble. That's the way to do this with Delver. Force of Will revealed. That card's good against what I'm trying to do. Ponder, they've got more stuff to do. Yeah, if I had just taken that Verdant Catacombs, maybe I got greedy, but not every deck has Wasteland in it. The Wasteland decks don't always have Wasteland. If they do have Wasteland, they don't always have the Daze too. Like, also, if Moonshadow is just attacking for 3 or 4 each of these turns, I'm doing okay. That was a full dismantling on the draw against my deck, where I also just failed to draw a land after that point. Alright. Alright. I get it. I'm a grindy deck, though. If I find my way out of this, we could continue to play. Flow state. Okay. Speaking of grindy decks. Delver getting in. Another Delver. Forest? A forest. A Eumidian Hatchery. Kind of. Alright. I'm going to play Mox Diamond, because I would rather have green mana. And if they think this is forcible, that's a conversation we can have. I could Once Upon a Time. I think they would definitely force Witherbloom command. But also that's my best card. Alright, I'll try to get my 2 for 1 where I can. -3, -1, mill myself. Daze. Don't even have to use the force. Alright. I've had enough. You got it. Okay, so we know we're against Delver Tempo now. All the removal comes in. Pithing Needle. I'm not going to Pithing Needle Wasteland. I'm also a Wasteland deck. Some of the Once Upon a Times can back off. Mox Diamond is a very poor top deck, though it is kind of nice on turn 1. I don't think I need Thought Seizes here. All right, here's the plan. Just straight into the mid-range. Okay, I like this hand. I will keep it. It doesn't interact well, but it does. I'm not going to get mana denied. And I might just Wasteland lock them. Moonshadow, let's go. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Nice. Drawing a 1-drop's great. Now I can Wasteland and still develop. Love that for me. And I'm going to Reclaimer pre-combat because if they force it, that grows Moonshadow. Did not force it. I'm happy to have it either way. Flooded Strand. Another Channeler. A Bauble. They're going off. It is technically possible, though unlikely to get Delirium from this Bauble. And they just kept the card on top. Okay. Fair. And they want to draw it now. All right, I wonder if that means it's a Force of Will or a Daze, something like that. Ooh, Abrupt Decay. That's a very exciting draw. Now I can attack with both my creatures and just max punish if they try to block anything, which they didn't do. I don't blame them for that. Fetch. Get my damage. Do I want to play basics? I don't think so. I got Life from the Loam happening. I'm living my life here. Life from the Loam target all my lands. I know that this makes Elvish Reclaimer farther away from being large, but I can live with that. And if they want to daze that Loam, then they're back to having 0 lands. Brainstorm. Okay, Milda Sorcery, that gives them Delirium here once the Brainstorm resolves. If my Moonshadow survives this turn, I really like my spot. If I get it to 4/4 by wasting them, I really like where I am. If they have Lightning Bolt right now, I don't like my position. Blooded Strand. Fetching. Red in the pool. Disappointed! Yeah, I can't put a permanent in my graveyard and in speed right now. No Street Wraith for the blowout. Right, now I'm behind. I will not be dredging Loam. I need to draw a removal spell or endurance, something like that to get me back to where I want to be. Still going to Wasteland. And I'm casting Abrupt Decay this turn, so I'm going to attack with Reclaimer. And I should probably just rip this off before they get any additional Surveil off it. They are winning the race. Oh no, that's another mana. If this is Murktide. In flow state's not ideal, but at least we're still playing. Murktide, we're mostly dead. Okay. I'll take a flow state here. I am starting to recognize in the construction of this deck, like I said in the deck tech, this started as Pox, and then we cut the Poxes and tried to be kind of a grindy Life from the Loam adjacent aggro deck. But I think those decks might just be confused because like going balls to the wall early with Moonshadow, and then on turn 3 or 4 they bolt it, and now I have to suddenly be a Pox deck. That might just be too confused. Right, I want to play Underground Mortuary, but I also want my Reclaimer to be a guaranteed 3/4, and I don't know that I can do both. And Mortuary being in my hand instead of in my deck right now is costing me the play I want to make. All right, I'll play Mortuary. I think I need the help. Skateboard, not interested. And I'm still going to leave up Reclaimer to activate it, though I think this game has left me behind. I think I've drawn a land literally every turn of the game. Maybe this Abrupt Decay was a card I drew, but like this was all lands all day when my opening hand didn't need any additional help from lands because I already had Life from the Loam. Steel Cutter and trigger it. If I had played my Verdant Catacombs here, I could successfully block with Reclaimer. I took the high roll, and I lost my high roll. There's no Bajuka Bog in the deck either. And that's kind of the thing that I'm talking about, where like, if we didn't have Moonshadow, we could have 3 or 4 Loams, and then some extra tech lands, like a Bajuka Bog, maybe a Maze of Ith, and then we're just kind of mid-range green Elvish Reclaimer lands things. If we didn't have Elvish Reclaimer, we could have Super Shredders, Thoughtseizes, Street Wraiths, and just like hit a lot harder with Moonshadow. And these things are kind of pulling each other in opposite directions. I'm going to take 5, and then activate Elvish Reclaimer, and probably die because I don't think there's anything that saves me. I mean, Urza Saga is probably the best thing I can get here, but the ship is mostly sailed. Mox Diamond, that's not gonna do it. All right, GG. Well, okay. I'll play my Swamp, I'll play my Diamond. I'll discard my Ghost Quarter, or I'll probably discard Verdant Catacombs, actually. This makes Reclaimer 3/4, and I have a second blocker with the Saga. And I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. I'm dead to a flying creature. I'm dead to enough prowess triggers, but I will play it out at least. As if they somehow don't have Lightning Bolt, Nile Spellbomb is showing up in my next upkeep or my next main phase, which can control the DRC. Oh, Price of Progress. That just kills me. GG's. Okay, starting to feel the tension here. I explained it a little bit. We'll play out the rest of these matches and keep an eye on that. Like the round one, I did have that one game where turn one Moonshadow just stuck, and I got to be a mid-range deck while my 7/7 Menace tore them to shreds. That's kind of the dream. But when you're in a grindy turn 10 situation and you draw 1/1 Moonshadow, that's not ideal. And if Moonshadow dies before it kills them, and then you have to suddenly be a control deck, that it's kind of like the Moonshadow didn't do anything. Because this deck's not good at doing like 6 to 8 damage. If your opponent stabilizes from the early rush, then they have all the time in the world to figure things out versus your Urza Saga setup after that. Good notes. Let's keep going. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the play in round 3. I have a turn 1 Orcish Bowmaster versus a Yorion strategy. The second diamond kind of stinks. Without Life from the Loam, which we only played 2 of, it's hard to leverage a second one of those effectively. I think I'm going to mulligan this. This skateboard just determined to be in all my hands forever. Alright, I am more interested in this. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put your Endurance on the bottom. There is the Yoops deck, the Yorion Oops All spells that technically exists, but I am going to hope that I'm not playing against that. That's one of the more cursed things that exists in Legacy. I've never played against it myself. I just know it's out there. Opponent mulled to 5. Does that feel like Oops All Spells behavior? I'm going to get my Forest and play Reclaimer. Okay, we're safe. Dryad Militant. All right. If an instant or sorcery put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile instead. Oh, kind of interesting here, because Witherbloom Command does kill this thing. However, if I mill Life from the Loam, it would be exiled before this dies. So I actually want to use one of my other many ways to defeat an X1 that exists in my deck. Thalia. Okay, oh baby. The X1 feast continues. Target player mills 3, target creature gets -3/-1. Charging up these hatcheries. I just found a wasteland. Give me that. Attack. And now we'll see if they can turn the corner or not. Schadenport. Extraction Specialist. Oh, baby. Okay. This can get back the Thalia. I mean, it could get back either of these things. It did get Thalia back. This appears to be just regular old grandpa-style Death and Taxes. Wasteland. I could take out their port. That sounds good. Or I should attack first. No, I'm not going to attack because I probably want to rotate with Reclaimer this turn. I take out the port. That makes this Reclaimer 3/4. I could play this one that's also 3/4 and pass. And I think I'm going to spin one of my hatcheries into something else this turn. Wait, Orchid Phantom. Okay. All right, destroying your own land. That makes sense. Makes more sense than blowing up one of my Eumidian hatcheries. Do they have a Splash Caller, or is this just mono white? Splash Caller revealed. Dumped a Ghost Quarter. Witch Bless Meadow tapped. 1 card left in hand. I'm going to rotate away Eumidian Hatchery, get an Urza Saga. And this will immediately know how to make constructs because that's how timing works. Ooh, Grist. I could just play this and start killing stuff. That's pretty hot. All right, I'm going to do the... yeah, they have one card in hand. If I play Grist, I would probably sack Orc Army to kill White Orchid Phantom. And then I can attack for 9. They can attack back with Lifelink, though. Yeah, I just want to try to get this game over. Sack Orc Army, kill White Orchid Phantom. Maybe I'll leave a 3-4 back. I'll just attack for 6. Because attacking for this 3 and letting them gain 3 off lifelink is the same thing, except my life total's worse and or Grist is dead. Skyclave Apparition, solid. Grist got her money on the way in, though. We'll take it. The drawing mana here would have been pretty nice. That turns on Skateboard. I mean, I can still do a kickflip and tap one of these creatures. If I tap the Extraction Specialist... No, I want the Specialist to... Or no, I want Skyclave to die. That gives me a 3-3. So if I tap Specialist, I can attack for 3, 6, 9, 10. They have to block. They'd block Bowmaster, probably. Yeah, that doesn't quite do everything I want. I think it's still the best thing I can get, though. Tap the Specialist. And if I attack with everything, they could block Bowmaster and go to 1. Or they could chump block Reclaimer and have a little more life to work with. I could also just leave Bowmaster back. This is mostly the same attack as last turn. Yeah, the Skateboard, kind of. Disappointing that I didn't have the mana to equip. If I could equip this was game over. Right, here come these. It was probably a better way to win the game to not make a construct. Yeah, if I don't make a construct, then I can float a mana, tutor Skateboard, rotate away Eumidian Hatchery, or I could rotate away the Saga before it sacked and get 2 value things. Luckily, I was far enough ahead it didn't matter, or it didn't cost me the game, but I think I could have used that turn better. Removal coming in. Endurance matters very little. Nile Spellbomb matters very little. I actually like some number of Thoughtseizes here. I can have less Once Upon a Time. I think I'm going minus a Mox Diamond plus a Thoughtseize. It's just a bad card to draw in multiples. Thalia punishes it, Flicker Wisp punishes it, and Thoughtseize actually just pretty good. Force of Vigor. I don't think I want that. With Decay, Trophy, and Witherbloom Command, I can destroy non-creature permanents pretty well. Okay, I can play with this hand. I hope they lead on Aether Vial, and I get something good with this Needle. Hell yeah. Talon Gates. Oh, Once Upon a Time, while it's still time to once. Okay, some options here. I could get Eumidian Hatchery, start heating it up. I could take Barrowgoyf for later, or I could get a basic land with Verdant Catacombs. I think I want a Hatchery. I was a little worried about Wasteland here, and this doesn't play around Wasteland, but go ahead, Wasteland it. Vial, the random one of Needle. We take them. Shot in Port. Okay. Uh-oh. Now, that's a little scary. My removal's not ready for this. Pre-war Formware. Okay. Wasteland. I could zap this Witch Bless Meadow and bet against a white source. I'm actually going to try that. And I do want the Meadow, not the Port. Ooh, white mana revealed. Did they have Cauldra in their hand anyway? Oh, mother. I've got that one under control. I'm actually not gonna just float mana here, because I'm enough behind that I'm pretty sure I want to preserve my life total as much as I can, because this might come down to a thin area of stabilization. But I'll take that out, which does give them a target for formal wear, but if I don't use it, I lose it. And if they formal wear, then they can't Rashad import my Urza Saga. Skyclave Apparition. Okay, unlocking the Aether Vial is actually insane here. Alright, any number of messed up things can happen now. Ooh. A fresh answer to Aether Vial. I could do that, or I could try to get some constructs on this board. I think I would like some constructs on this board. My hand is primed to tutor up Mox here. I just have so many lands and nowhere to put them. What I don't want is this Vial to get to 5, where Yorion can become an issue. Like, Aether Vial on 5 plus Caracas on the battlefield is just the unlimited loop. Construct. Rashad importing me. I'll float a green. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna use Mox Diamond to jump ahead here. Okay, are they gonna... Yeah, they're gonna Formal Wear before the possibility of Nile Spellbomb comes up. Mox Diamond, discard. I don't think I want another Eumidian Hatchery. Talon Gates might be sick still. Discard Hatchery. Play Saga. Attack for 3. Okay. That got through. All right, I'm gonna Boseiju the Vial now, or I can let it get up to 5 and then do it. Putting Yorion in your hand is a special action though, but I guess if they Violin a Solitude here, I'm gonna feel pretty stupid. Yeah, for 1 second I forgot that buying a companion is a special action that doesn't use the stack, and I was just gonna hit that in response to them buying Yorion, but that's not actually a thing we can do. I should have waited for their draw step though to play around exactly this. A Containment Priest milled. Mother of Runes is online now. Yorion's in the hand. Rashad Port does work on Urza Saga here, because it doesn't know how to make constructs until my main phase. Got me. Okay, I could play Grist and start making bugs. This cannot name colorless. Yeah, I'm going to attack with my constructs. We'll start there. I guess I should have played my Swamp first, because I'm going to do that anyway, and I could have zooted in Talon Gates and won a combat if they go for a double block here. I think they want all their stuff for Yorion, but that is something I could have done just for free. Oh, interesting. The hell is that? Weird. Okay. All right. Oh, they're gonna flicker pre-war Formal Wear and take something else on the way back in? That's what that is. Okay. I understand. That means I probably don't want to play Grist right now. Weather of Runes does protect from Grist. Okay, I'll pass the turn. Yorion's still being a bit of a problem. My plan is to phase out Mother of Runes, and then I can do stuff on opponent's turn. They're blowing up my Saga. Okay. Fair enough. I do have a forest in my deck still. I'm out of those, though. Wow, tapping out of the Caracas to try to make this happen is exciting for me. Okay. This stuff happens. Mother of Runes still here. I can let their stuff come back before I have to make any decisions. All right, do you want my lands or your flagstones with this White Orchid Phantom? Okay, going after my Bayou. I am out of basics. Stoneforge finds Lion Sash. I expect this apparition to take my Mox Diamond, which is just mean, honestly. I'll put Talon Gates into play and warp out Mother of Runes. I think I have to spend this turn killing Yorion, or else I'm going to be buried by this Caracas forever. Okay, they gave Yorion protection from black for the end step. A Bowmaster. Disappointing. Okay, land for turn. Grist the Hunger Tide. Sack Orc Army. Is Orc Army better than Illusion? I get a new 1/1 or I could have a 2/2. Alright, Orc Army. Kill Yorion. Still in a lot of trouble. Mother of Runes comes back. It does not have Summoning Sickness. Phasing is just kind of... We pretend it's not there. Now we know it's back. A third Stoneforge Mystic. Meteor Sword. That one's actually good. Alright, there it is. What do you want? Okay. Grist dying. That could have died in combat. Deal. Lion Sash with 1 white up, which means this Bowmaster has a chance to kill Lion Sash. We get Mortuary. Witherbloom Command. Interesting. This card reads extremely well. What does it actually do? It could crack my Eumidian Hatchery. Like if I get back Wasteland. Alright, I'm keeping this on top. Float a black. Cool. I've untapped. Opponent could Lion Sash targeting Wasteland in response, and then I can use Orcish Bowmaster to kill that. Do I want to drain them for 2? Is that the actual win con here? I need to get through Mother of Runes, so... Or Lion Sash isn't really a problem, actually. Yeah, I might just try to burn them out. Okay, Witherbloom Command, drain you. They have 1 exile available here. I hope they think Urza Saga is what's important. Okay, I'll grab Wasteland. Wasteland, I've got 7 bugs banked up here. How good am I at pushing damage right now? How bad am I at dying on the backswing? Also an important question. We've got a 4/4 and a 2/2 first strike. I don't think I'm pushing any damage through here. I'll just pass. All right. The Bowmaster is not going to work here. I'm going to go face. The Mother of Runes is still up. Okay, they're dead in 2 turns if I just swarm with the bugs, and they have nothing. Played a Plains for turn. That's good news for me. That's close to nothing. Equipping Formal Wear to White Orchid Phantom, but did not equip Meteor Sword, leaving up conspicuous 5 mana. Okay, I'm going to block Lion Sash with Illusion Token. I do have to be careful about Mother of Runes giving pro black to White Orchid Phantom and just killing me. Okay, end of turn. Cast Bowmaster. 1 to you. Wasteland my land. Make 7 bugs. And then we swarm. 7 bugs. Here we go. All I can do is turn them sideways twice and hope it's enough. Thoughtseize. LMAO. Not helpful. Okay, so they have a 7/7 flyer that they can make unblockable. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers on the ground for 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers on the ground. Yeah, attacking with all the bugs looks right. Oh, wait, do I have lethal right now? Hold on. 7 in the air. They block 1. They go to 2. No, I can put them to 1 right now. Yep, bug swarm. This is the plan. One of my bugs dies. 6 get through. I'm at 9. I see 7 damage on the board. Fingers crossed. Don't have a good card. All right, just eating stuff with Lion Sash in the end step. The size of that thing doesn't matter. I have 2 colorless blockers. It probably would have been better to block with Bowmaster last turn, so I would have a black, a colorless, and a blue blocker in case Mother of Runes somehow paired with a removal spell got through my beats. A Wasteland should not matter. Oh, shit. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's the equipability of Lion Sash. Nope. You're smarter than me. Yep. That's not Scavenging Ooze. There's other words. Yeah, I was dead even without attacking there because the Mother of Runes. All right. Slick. Man, I thought I had that one. A Disruptor Flute has some cool applications here. Do I want that? In Force of Vigor, I mentioned it sideboarding the last game. There's Aether Vial and the various equipments that are worth flickering and the Lion Sash. I think Disruptor Flute is better than Force of Vigor if I have to choose. Starting off a Mother of Runes would completely change the game we just played. I think I'm shaving another Mox Diamond just to maximize for cards that are actually good when I draw them. The flavor text on the reconfigure creature got my ass. Fair enough. Ooh, all right. I will keep this. Put a lot of faith in Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time, I found the green mana I was looking for, and I think that's just what I do here. Take Bayou, Thoughtseize you, start here. Ooh, I can take the land. Yeah, I'm taking this creature that's a land and trying to high roll against this one lander. The Dryad Militant. So sick. Caracas, Dryad Militant, Eumidian Hatchery. That doesn't really help me here. I'm going to go Moonshadow plus Reclaimer. Get on this board. Hope you miss your land drop. And then we try to pummel. There is a Solitude in that hand, so they're not completely without action. And a Plains, of course. Solitude pitching White Orchid Phantom. More worried about Reclaimer than Moonshadow. Okay, that's gone. I'm holding this Caracas, which is kind of sick against the face-up Felia in their hand. Ooh. I really want to use this, but I think I need this Caracas in play. What is Felia going to do if my opponent only has the 1 land? I can't kill Felia. Like, if opponent follows up with land Stoneforge Mystic from hand on this Felia, and I didn't interact with that, I'm a dope. Alright, I'm going to Witherbloom, but I don't even have a land in my graveyard right now. Alright, I'm still going to Witherbloom. I'll just hope to hit a land. My spells get exiled. I hope Loam doesn't get randomly hit here. I did high roll a Wasteland. Nice. Okay, opponent knows I have Wasteland now. This is such an interesting decision. I'm going to play the Caracas because Felia makes my Moonshadow little also. All right, hopefully opponent just doesn't have any real plays right now. You might as well deploy that. White Orchid Phantom. All right, well, I'll bounce Felia. That's happening. And then opponent can grow my Moonshadow. And they know I have Wasteland. If they miss this land drop, I'm in pretty good business. Nice. Wasteland, ripping that off immediately. Probably could have once upon a time first. Grist and Urza Saga. These are both good hits. I want Grist. All right, Moonshadow. Ride into the sunset. Get it done. Ugh. I hope they are shot and port me. They don't, like, this is the Wasteland that they saw. They don't know I have another one. If they try to port me off Grist, I can punish really hard. But if they actually develop Felia this turn, that might stink. Or no, I can play around both. No, I can't. No, that's not possible. Shit. Okay. Wasteland, the Rashadan port. So you get Felia. Does Felia have to flicker Moonshadow? I don't have an extra creature here to feed to the Grist. Attack for 6. The opponent can't really afford here to flicker their White Orchid Phantom. I think they have to delete Moonshadow. And then I have to try to grind through with Grist. Oh no, what a good draw! That probably just ended the game. Now they can flicker out my bug, kill Grist in combat, and just have an engine online. Son of a biscuit. Alright, bad news, everyone. I need something real big, real fast. Oh, Caracas helps. Alright. Caracas, Wasteland, Wasteland to my hand. Caracas. Get rid of that shit. Okay. We're back. Somewhat back. You've got a Caracas. And a Vial. I am, in fact, reviled. Okay, I've been attacked. I am not going to Dredge Loam because I have lands I want to play. And, like, Urza Saga is the thing I would do otherwise. I wish I had a Eumidian Hatchery on 6 in play already. Basic Plains, that's so broken. Okay, you are pushing for damage. I'm still going to take draws. I think my spells are better than my lands here. There's a good one. Eumidian Hatchery. Start the clock. And I could blow up Aether Vial. At this point, is blowing up Aether Vial better than blowing up the things Aether Vial would shit into play? The Aether Vial does represent multiple layers with Felia, but I can just bounce it in combat, so that doesn't actually matter. Yeah, I'm gonna blow up Aether Vial in the end step. This does give them mana to play something like Pre-War Formware that I know is in their hand, but the only target for that right now is Dryad Militant. Come on, spells, keep them coming. Good spell, good spell. Wasteland is in. Bounce Felia before attacks. Don't have enough bugs to defeat White Orchid Phantom. Extraction Specialist. That also gets back Dryad Militant, which I can kill immediately. That's actually better for me than if they had used 4 more to do the same thing. Good spell, good spell. Oh no, another hatchery. Can I afford to sink that many bugs every turn? This lifelink creature is in play now too. I'm putting it into play. That doesn't mean I have to tap it. And now they have Formal Wear plus Extraction Specialist to endlessly loop. And they can blow up my Caracas. Okay. I think I have to chump the Specialist without killing it, because it being dead means it's also just in play but bigger with another friend. Okay. Definitely going to 8 to put a third counter on that one. I think I'm going to stop there. And I also think I have to Dredge Loam now. Caracas, Fetchland, Wasteland. Caracas in play. I have enough bugs now that I can kill White Orchid Phantom in combat. Felia's back. Get that out of here. Oh, if they play Pre-War Formware and get back White Orchid Phantom, then they have a 4/4. But at least I'm not stuck under the threat of Pre-War Formware anymore. If they have any removal spell here, I'm in trouble, because I need all 4 of these to kill this in combat. And I will offer up the Bowmaster. Life total getting dicey. Brutal. Alright. That was exactly what I didn't want them to have. I could still win this game if I draw Barrogoyf. Has not shown up at all in any of these games yet. Barrogoyf. Besechu, you fucker. I don't know that I can win this game anymore. I could have banked 2 bugs under the second hatchery by now, but I'd also be at 6. I wish I understood what it was like to draw a good card when I needed one. And I've basically known my opponent's hand this entire game, and every turn was like, as long as it's not Swords to Plowshares, dead. Hope they don't have a land. Land. Well, certainly they haven't drawn 2 lands, second land. I think they should just play out the Form Aware and present another giant deadly creature. Yeah, okay. They figured it out. Okay, that's here. I'm going to destroy that because it does represent power and toughness. And Eumidian Hatchery can block multiple things, so I should probably bank one on there. All right, Barrogoyf. Elvish Reclaimer. A creature with words on it. Oh my god. Wasteland, Shadowy Backstreet. Play Wasteland from hand. Can we get something going here? Life total's pretty low. Skyclave Apparition. Come on! Come on! Can I get a break anywhere? Okay, so I'm going to go to 1 this combat. Make 2 bugs. Block the 2-1 and the 3-2. And now Barrogoyf's not even good enough because they have a flyer. All right, GG. Yeah, well played. And that was the classic Death and Taxes experience of, you know, everything they have, and it's like they drew a land on exactly the turns they needed a land, and then a high-impact spell on exactly the turns they needed a high-impact spell, and we're able to just nickel and dime you. That's Death and Taxes, baby. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round 4. I have Life from the Loam and Mox Diamond together at last. I will keep this hand. And I'll play out my cards, Loam back the Caracas, and we'll see what we're up against. A Polluted Delta. Delver of Secrets, okay. So I can bonk that with Orcish Bowmaster without playing into Daze. I like those options. I will Dredge Loam this turn. Okay, they have to have Force of Will here. Got in there. I also like main phasing the Bowmaster just in general, because now Ponder and Brainstorm hurt to play. Got your own Bowmaster to poke me back, though. That's magic. Oh, not with that mana, you don't. Okay. Bowmaster is deceptively solid at checking Quarry Steel Cutter, because a lot of the times the things that keep spells in your hand are cantrips. I can let that ride. And Bobbling Me, that'll trigger Bowmaster. 1 to you. Interesting. All right. I guess I'm going to Loam first. I can play this whole sequence around Daze, so I will. Okay, do I want to Pithing Needle? If I Needle, am I naming something like Wasteland? Do I care? I don't think I care about Wasteland. Bowmaster won't be blocking. I can attack with that. The Orc Army might block this turn. Moonshadow does specify permanent cards. Tokens are not cards, even though they're permanents. Orc Army dying should not trigger Moonshadow. Ponder. All right, here we go. This is the thing I said about Bowmaster being a decent check to Quarry Steel Cutter. If they have something like Lightning Bolt, that would kill the 3/3 Orc Army while developing a second Monk. But then they've spent Lightning Bolt on something that I got for free. I think I will keep going face. I don't think putting 1 damage on the 3/3 Monk is going to matter. Bobble. Okay, 3/3 and a 2/2. I'm happy to block either of these if they attack. Bobbling Me now. In the main phase. Okay, I'm going to block the little one to play around Prowess. Cool. Wasteland, that's fine. That makes Moonshadow bigger, and I have this Loam going anyway. I get to Dredge Loam. Good chance that... Oh, sick. All right, well. Bobble Trigger kills this Monk. Good chance Loam will cause Moonshadow to get bigger. Now there's 4 lands in my graveyard, including a Wasteland of my own. Wasteland, my opponent. There's those beats we like. Yeah, they've had enough. Cool. And when Loam and Diamond are in your opening hand together, good things happen. Endurance, all the removal. Thoughtseize, less important. Once Upon a Time. I think I just want all of those out, actually. And I guess the last Thoughtseize can go. Just play straight to the board. Let's do it. Oh, we have Diamond and Loam again. The gang's all here. I'm in. Blue to Delta. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, I'm gonna play... I could just Wasteland my opponent. And then land Loam next turn. I kind of like the aggression of this. Then Diamond, discard Saga, play Reclaimer. It's kind of fun. They Meltdown me for 0 and kill my Mox Diamond. That's not fun. Dumped a Daze. Oh, baby. I think I'm going to cast Loam, because if they have Daze here, they might think this is worth dazing. And if they don't, then I would rather... Like, if they do have Daze, I would rather they use it on Loam than Bowmaster. You've got a Wasteland. A Lightning Bolt. That works. It's not... Yeah, okay, not Delirious yet. I will Dredge the Loam. Do I want to screw them, or do I want to try to play Magic? I'm going to try to screw them. They had 2 Surveils, and both times they put a non-land into the graveyard. And if you don't have an island, you can't daze me. Those are also part of the rules. A Wasteland, okay. That's actually super awkward because it interacts with Saga well. Oh. Thank Merciful Poseidon for this. Okay. Orcish Bowmaster. They would need Force of Will here, or some other way to get Delirium at instant speed. Cool. That was a close one. And they've had enough. The Light from the Loam part of the deck, kick it in. Glad to see it. Thanks for showing up, big guy. On to the final round.
The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg.
Well, squad, sorry to report, my round 5 paired, and then my opponent immediately disconnected. I didn't even see an opening hand or anything. I just waited to see if they would come back, and they did not. I guess we're only getting 4 matches of play today. Sorry about that, Andy. Okay, so this deck, we can review it. We could take the time to do that. I think this is a little bit confused. The desire to grind into the super late game, playing your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th Urza Saga, like that kind of thing, is pretty directly at odds with what Moonshadow wants you to do. And the games where we had a turn 1 Moonshadow and then also got to settle into like a Loam Wasteland game behind the Moonshadow were kind of cool because it presented 2 problems for the opponent. But as we saw in, I think that happened 3 times where it lined up that way. And in 2 of those 3 games, the opponent eventually found an answer to the Moonshadow. That was the Death and Taxes game. That was the one Delver game where they bolted it at 3-3. And then there was the other game from, I think it was round 1, where the Moonshadow actually went coast to coast. But the other 2 games, the Shadow was answered, and it was like, well, now what? I got them at some sub 10 life total, but I'm not actually that good at dealing those last 8 or 9 points of damage without a Moonshadow in play, and I only have the 4. Elvish Reclaimer is kind of an inspired choice because it does do grindy Life from the Loam stuff, but it's also potentially a 1-mana 3/4. I think that's a really great call by Andy to include that card, but I'm also not sure it bridges the gap enough as an aggressive creature alongside the Moonshadow. And though I think Barrogoyf is a better card, and shout out to Barrogoyf for showing up literally ever in this entire league, you scumbag. But Barrogoyf, like the cards like Barrogoyf, maybe a couple of the Bowmasters, maybe the one of Grist. Maybe if we have like 2 Super Shredders to go with the Moonshadow, just build that package out a little bit. Some of the clunkier stuff, like Once Upon a Time. I like Once Upon a Time fine, but we're not trying to assemble combos here. Once Upon a Time is really good when it's like, I have a Thespian stage. I'd like a Dark Depths or Ursa Saga to go with it. Or I have 2 Eldrazi temples. Can I find a Thought-Knot Seer to cast with them? And this deck is a lot more middle of the road. And finding those Once Upon a Times, top decking those on turn 3 and 4, when I have other ways to spend my mana and this doesn't impact anything. There was a couple times where I just died with Once Upon a Time in my hand over multiple turns because I'm not that good at leveraging it. I think these could just be spells. And maybe that's where you find your action. I'd like more Loams in the deck. Mox Diamond, not a great deal if you can't recoup the card disadvantage or leverage the mana advantage. And we're not leveraging the mana advantage that well in the deck. Like, we're not powering out a turn 2 Merit Lage or anything. The deck doesn't have a gear like that. We're kind of hoping for, like, turn 2 Barrogoyf, turn 1 Orcish Bowmaster. That's our top range with Mox Diamond, which means we need to be able to recoup the cards, and I'd like more Loams in the mix for that. I'd probably turn the 4 Once Upon a Times into 2 Loams, 2 Super Shredders, and see if we could get low and really push the way we want to push here. That's my advice for that one. I'm going to leave this one here. As I said at the top of the league, Andy also has a more dedicated Pox build of this that's in the queue, so look out for Loam Pox in the next few days on the channel. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'm out of here.